you have one that you do for clients, and do you have one that's for referral partners? And if not, why would you?
Well, mine's one and the same. Do you know anybody who wants to buy, sell, refinance, their home? And if you can refer those people to me, that would be wonderful.
Great. Okay. How about anybody else? So mine is for referral partners, is what I kind of said in my introduction, that I'm the trusted accounting advisor, fractional CFO, that works with small to medium-sized businesses that don't know what they don't know and really need help understanding the story their financials tell them, so that when they start to grow, they don't grow broke. And so I let them know that I can be their secret weapon to help them establish a scalable business that will grow in a really effective way. Now, that's for people that like yourselves. But for clients, I kind of changed it a little bit to where I'm saying some of those things, but I modify it kind of to my audience, to maybe what they have indicated to me in the discovery call that they're looking for. And I do let them know that the key thing is that the first 90 days that they work with me, we're going to focus on what's keeping them up at night and really work that out and get them to a place where they're really comfortable with their financials. And then from there, we'll move into developing some key financial tools that will allow them to move from being a business owner with a job to a CEO with a business. And Tristan?
I love the question. It definitely forces some interesting thoughts. So I mean, I know I have a very wide elevator pitch that just kind of gives a buffet of what I'm about, so that way they can either just say, I don't want to talk to you at all, none of it's interesting, or let's pick one and move forward. So outside of that one, obviously when I know, okay, these are going to be SSD services, I know I'm going to spend more time on that. Like 80% of the time will be spent on that. And then I will mention the brokerage because I do want leads there. And I'll also still mention my foundation because I also want people to know about that. So then when I get to that last thought, well, it's like, well, if I think this is referral business, I know in that pitch I'm going to hit three things within that 80%. One, it is I believe that you will deal with people who will have businesses who I can help, or you are dealing with buyers and don't know about it, and I can help them as well. I want them to know that there is a 20% commission for either on both sides of that. So I don't want them to think, hey, if you send someone, I'd be really grateful. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. No, I know the cost to acquire a new seller and a new buyer. It's not inexpensive. I've got the budget for it. Please take this money if you give it to me. And the last one is that I do have a systematic approach to it, to where once you hand it off, you don't have to think about it. So like whenever it's a referrer, there is money on the table. There is an easy process. And I think that you already have these people coming in through your network. And on some level, I am trying to impress upon them, you're leaving money on the table. And this is only if you think that I'm awesome and would add value to the people you'd hand off to me. If you think I suck, or I'm weird, or I'm just too hyper, don't even send people my way. But assuming that that's not the case, I kind of let referrers know that there's a good reason to be self-interested, and they'll be handled well. And all other elevator pitches, it really is like, what do I think they're going to buy? So I'm going to talk a little more about that than the other things. That was it's a great question. I hope that helped someone think about something.
Yeah, definitely. I think that for me, when I first started, I had to write it down. So I had like a little script, and I would read from it. And I'm sure as I read from it, what I had written sounded way too professional and also sounded like a script. so I did join BNI and the organizations like Alignable and stuff to help me practice that. And so it became a place where now it just rolls off my tongue. I do have like the basic structure, which I just shared with you guys, but I do vary it, kind of what goes into my head. Maybe I forgot a word, maybe whatever, but I want to come across as authentic. And so That's important to me. So not having the script anymore leads to that, and essentially it should be something if you're taking an elevator ride with somebody, you're able to convey to them in a very short period of time, but convey very clearly, which is not always, it's a challenge. It's not always easy to do because you want to show them how they probably need your service, but what their outcome might be, in a positive way. So it's a challenge for sure. How about you, Larry? How do you communicate with people about your product?
I hit on what you said, so I pretty much improv everything. I keep it natural
Right.
because if you sound like a script, then they can tell that you're trying to sell them more service and stuff like that. And people really don't like to be sold on stuff. But if you more authentic, improv it, be yourself, just get your point across what kind of utilitarian value that you have and what kind of services you can provide for them, that's enough. So I don't too much have an elevator pitch. I just be myself, improv everything.
And that's great. Do you find that in doing that, whether it's what I do that's, more of a cultivated pitch, or yours that's really an authentic, organic kind of situation, that people respond to that you actually engage and have a conversation?
Yes, and break the ice. You get them laughing, and you build a. I find that I build a lot of relationships that way because you can't really build a relationship if you sound like a robot
Right.
and reading off a script. But if you are who you are, you get what you get and don't throw a fit type of conversation with them, everybody start laughing, then you start building a relationship, and then it trickles on to then they start referring your business. People just they like to feel comfortable.
Yeah, I think that's really true, definitely. And, helping them to understand how, as, working with you can really lead to further success of their business. So I always try to focus on the positive rather than saying, like you've probably been trying for years and grow and you haven't been able to. That's kind of negative. So I try to focus on things that are a little more positive. Like, how can we take what you've built and make it even bigger? Which is saying
Yeah,
the same thing, but in a different way.
yeah, because it make it sound too good to be true, and they feel like there is a underline to it that they trying to get scammed, and they're like
Right.
this sound too good to be true. But if you just keep it simple, kiss, keep it simple, sweetheart.
Yep, that's right. For some reason, I thought I was always keep it simple, stupid, but I like sweetheart better. Oh, and Santiago has a question?
Yes. Well, to everybody, well, I'm going to share a story about myself about when you say elevator pitch, because well, at last year of my university career, I took a class about entrepreneurs, and the last activity of the class was about elevator pitch, and that was like a bad experience to me because. I wanted to say everything about my project, and they only give me like 1 minute to explain
Right.
everything. I got nervous, and I started to talk fast, and was like, "Where am always thinking, what is the most important thing for an elevator pitch? What is the main goal? For example, the main topic that we need to to take when we are doing the elevator pitch."
Anybody have some thoughts on that? What do you think the whole point of an elevator pitch is? Obviously, tell who you are, but
Yeah, for example, the main what is the most important thing to say in the elevator pitch?
I think for me, sometimes it's not so much what you say, it's kind of like what Larry said, it's how you say it, how you're coming across. Because you know what you offer as a business. And, you want them to you want to stir their curiosity. Like, oh, I'd like to know more about that. Or how could that really help my business? So it's really kind of I guess you call it in a group meeting like an icebreaker, so to speak. So, in a way.
Also you can redirect the conversation and get them talking instead of so much about your speech. You get
Mhm.
them to talk so you can hear what they looking for and get a better understanding, and next thing you know, you learn more about them and you really don't even have to do a pitch anymore. Now you can just tell them how you can help them.
That's a really good point. People do like to be listened to and not talked at.